do I mean by DSM has made things up? From the very beginning, 95% or so of DSM diagnoses have been based on just the consensus opinions of experts. And I keep using air quotes because sometimes they're really not experts in the field. Sometimes they're just administrative leaders of the American Psychiatric Association or chairman of departments who may have academic power, but they're not necessarily researchers who are expert in what they're talking about. But anyway, these people get around committee rooms and make decisions, and with a majority vote, we'll say, let's define diagnosis X this way, diagnosis Y this way, and diagnosis Z that way. That's not based on any scientific research. It's not based on validity data. It's not based on strong scientific evidence. And in fact, the DSM leadership over the years has admitted this. The leader of DSM-3, the third edition in 1980, which was the big radical change that gave us what we have now, was Robert Spitzer. The leader of DSM-4, Alan Francis, 1994. And then DSM-5, the fifth edition, and the current one, 2013, was led by David Kupfer. Of these leaders, Dr. Francis, for instance, has admitted that he calls for pragmatism and says that pragmatism is the main way to make revisions in DSM. And by that, he means that we just decide what's best, what we think is best for the profession, for society, for patients. That may sound reasonable, but he says that that should be put ahead of scientific data. And that was really the way with the very beginning with DSM-3 in 1980 that Spitzer approached this as well, because they said, look, we don't really know what causes psychiatric illness, so we're just going to give up on validity. And they make another mistake here. They think that you have to know causes or etiologies to be able to have valid diagnoses. The vast majority of medical diseases are such that we do not know their causes. We don't know the cause of diabetes, high blood pressure, asthma, migraine, but we can validly define them. In psychiatry, it's the same. And psychiatrists have, again, sort of cynically, I think, used the issue of not knowing causes to not try to be valid in their diagnoses. So Spitzer in DSM-3 gave us 292 diagnoses. 2 years before, the research diagnostic criteria, which were based on data, diagnoses based on validity data, had about 14 valid diagnoses. So if you divide 14 by 292, you get about 5%. That's why 95% of DSM was invalid from the start. And the leaders of DSM admitted as such. They didn't claim that it was all valid. They didn't even claim it was mostly valid, because it isn't. The only thing they claimed was that it's reliable. So let's talk about that a minute.